Welcome everyone to Off the Rails, a new podcast hosted by Troli Train owner Cameron Trollinger here at CrossFit Taylors. So let's get right into getting to know you first off, Cam. CFL3, 5 or 6 year affiliate owner here.
This is 6 years in, going on year 7 this year. So we've been at it a little while.
Yeah.
I've been doing CrossFit myself though since 2012, so well over 10 years, and coaching for probably about 9 of those. But yeah, moved up here, opened the gym, and we're 7 years in, going good and having some fun.
Yeah, so a lot of CrossFit experience then for yourself. So have a lot of knowledge on kind of what you can bring to this podcast or episode, and we'll kind of go from there. But lots of CrossFit topics to come up. We have coaching, programming, competition. Today is the big one with the end of the Open, so we will go over all 3 workouts there and kind of discuss, I guess, what we liked or what we didn't like about the workouts or the Open in general, and what that can mean for affiliates, athletes, or just people that want to get into CrossFit. So,
well, let's pause for a second.
Yeah.
What about you, Nate? What's your experience with CrossFit and your knowledge and things like that?
Yeah,
about yourself.
So at least for myself, I found CrossFit through Fittest on Earth in 2016, the Netflix documentary, or I guess that would have been 2017. And just kind of fell in love with the competitive side of it. Didn't really go to a CrossFit gym per se. Honestly, it was expensive at the time, and just didn't want.
Can be.
And I didn't understand like why I would pay $200 or something for when I could just go to a regular gym,
right?
And do whatever I wanted. But fast forward a couple years, got into a CrossFit gym, and just kind of started doing it ever since then, really focusing on more of that competitive side for myself, on not me competing, but just coaching and watching and
okay, cool.
being
like the games athletes. I know you've done some stuff with that before and whatnot.
Yep.
Sweet.
So and then started coaching here at CrossFit Taylors a couple years ago. Started with just USA weightlifting and then moved into CrossFit as well. So definitely been a fun time.
Been doing some programming as well.
Yeah,
and some of the members think it's me.
Yeah, they do.
And they like to be like, "Ooh, that was a terrible one." I'm like, "Oh, go thank Nate."
yeah.
Go thank that guy.
But yeah. So really not as long as you for sure by any stretch, but at least when it comes to the sports side, I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't have you doing some of our programming if we didn't think you knew what you were talking about. So I think you'll definitely help bring a lot of knowledge and information to this as well. So it's not just me.
I do appreciate that. So
yeah, man.
I know you got kids class coming up here not too long, so let's jump into it at this point. Starting with the open workout. So open workout number 1 was a 15-minute AMRAP of clean and jerks with the dumbbell, burpees over the dumbbell, and then just body weight lunges. So
15 down, 15 back, 30 feet in between, and then add 3 reps and keep going, right?
So what was, when this workout first came out, what was your initial impression? What do you think about it?
Initially, I'm gonna assume that this was probably like most people, where we kind of heard the drop of the workout, and for me, my thought immediately went to the lunge of like, man, that lunge with that dumbbell is gonna really suck. I wonder how we're gonna have to hold it. And then I started looking everywhere for like, where is this? What kind of hold is this? And then come to find out, it's just a body weight lunge, which intrigues me programming wise of why we didn't hold the dumbbell some kind of way and lunge with it. So, I think that's probably out of the workout itself. Sorry, I just ran a kid's class in my mouth. Getting a little dry. We got another one coming up. It was a good program, but I think with us, so let's take it a step back behind the Open. This year we don't have quarterfinals, so we're going straight from the Open to semifinals and then to the games. So it's like we gotta test some stuff, and we're only gonna do 3 workouts, right? So for me, like those tests need to have progression or need to show something a little more challenging. And I want everyone to be able to do it, but what's gonna be the separator, right? So I think with that workout, yes, it was a good workout, but could it have been a lunge with a dumbbell? Hold it how you want. Maybe it's forced to be a front rack, farmers, or even overhead. But my other idea would be, what if it started with just a body weight lunge for the the 3, 6, 9 or 12. And then, hey, if you're good enough to make it this far, now we're going to force you to front rack lunge with a dumbbell for 15, 18, 21. And then, hey, if you've made it that far, now let's put that dumbbell overhead, test a little more stability now that you're tired. And now we're going to separate some athletes a little further instead of just who has the cardio, right? So I think we would still get the cardio part, but now we're going to add a little challenge to it as we get further into this workout.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want, or not want, but I definitely thought there would be a dumbbell with that lunge to create that separation. We've kind of seen in the past now, though, the first workout is always pretty everyone can do it. Do you think not having the dumbbell was by choice? And do you think it really would have, especially since we're going to semifinals right away, would it have been enough of a separator? Or do you think the right people still finish the workout high enough?
Yeah, I do. After seeing the whole open, I do think it was more of an engine test of like who's going to just push for 15 minutes. I do think the body weight was a choice. Obviously, they probably tested some different things. If I experience tells me from watching a lot of things that they do test these things. They're not just made up and like, oh, hopefully this is good. And the only thing I could think of a why was to stop people from moving. So it could have just been a clean and jerk and burpee workout, right? Because the lunge didn't do a lot. But sometimes as an athlete, when you're forced to take a break, say it's a 1 minute rest, 30-second rest or whatever, you start to question things. And so I think that lunge maybe was more of a mental challenge than a physical challenge of like, hey, we're going to stop you. And now you're going to have to think about how tired you are before you grab this dumbbell again or before you do these burpees again. So in my head, I think that was that. And a little bit of active recovery sometimes allows people to push a little harder. Like, hey, I'm going to get to that quote unquote rest. So I'm going to finish this set. I'm going to go get my active rest in, and then I'm going to be able to come back and go a little harder. So that could have been the reasoning for the body weight lunges and not having the dumbbell. Both of those I think are good things. But again, hindsight of, man, we gotta get the right people to semifinals. And I think having that dumbbell in there, could have been different. Now, old school Cameron back in like 2014, 15 CrossFit Open days had the thought of like, man, what if we had double dumbbell clean and jerks, burpees over both sets of dumbbells, and then we had to like front rack lunge those things down. Like that's a game changer of a workout, right? That's so much harder. And we wouldn't have gotten to the 21s and 20. Well, I wouldn't have gotten to the 21s and 24s or whatever. But it still would have been a great 15-minute AMRAP. It just would have been a different, more heavy style workout, right? So I definitely think they were going for cardio. But the difference is there. I would have just liked to see us lunge with the dumbbell some kind of way. That way, as we got into the latter things, there was more of a separator for those athletes that are not only have engine, but now also like they're showing off their capacity to move weight for a long time as well.
No, that makes sense for sure. I think one thing that was kind of funny though is once that workout is released, the amount of people that came up to myself at least and be like, didn't we do this last year? So I do think it's kind of interesting that last year we had the burpee and the snatches, the 21s, 15s and 9s.
Right.
And then this
both arms.
Okay. And then this year, pretty close to the same movement. Just adding in that lunge there. So
clean and jerk slightly different, but I mean, essentially almost the same workout, right? I mean, for most people. So I think it does go back to maybe we're trying to make that first one really accessible for a lot of people, which I do understand, but hey, maybe that's where that ladder thing comes in of you've made it through a couple rounds. And for most people, if you're not going for semifinals anyway, I mean, you get to that round of 12 or 15, like you're hurting. Right. You're almost probably like, man, I wish this was harder so I didn't have to go as hard. Like, but now I have a body weight lunge that I can easily knock out and I have to come back and do more of this. Right. So,
that was definitely kind of annoying, to be honest, like getting tired, finishing up the clean jerks and then being like, well, it is body weight. Like I can just
lunge
do
that.
This. But overall, I think for test one, it was good. The people that, at least in my opinion, did the best are the people we would expect to do the best.
For sure.
Seeing kind of the Hatfields and the Colton Mertens of the world, a little bit shorter levers, so they had a little bit of an advantage there compared to someone like Roman. But I think it was a good workout for number one.
Taking it back to like one of our in-house athletes, Rob Wolfington, like it showed that he had engine. Like he blew everyone at our gym out of the water. Right. So it was like, yes, he is a step above. And that I think it did push the right people, right? We have some other athletes that have good cardio, but with just the clean and jerks and burpees, he still was able to show like I have more, right?
Yep.
So I guess it did at the end of the day get the right test. And again, we have to look at the whole picture. And when we just saw that workout at first, it was like, okay, well, we better see something kind of heavier later, right? Or we should, especially when it comes to the leg movements.
Yeah. So, I know for at least myself personally, it's hard not to judge the first workout without seeing the first or the rest of the program,
right?
And not trying to be like, oh, well, this open sucks.
Yeah,
we're only one
workout. We're only one workout and we haven't even done it. I mean, at the end of the day, it hurt, and I was tired, and I did it again, and you know, it hurt both times. So it's always a good workout. It's just a matter of like, okay, now we get to pick it apart now that we kind of know what's going on.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So I guess moving on here to workout number 2, we did see that gymnastic component come into play with the pull-up, chest-to-bar, and ring muscle-up, with some weightlifting with the thrusters.
Muscle-up, not ring muscle.
Or not ring
bar muscle.
Bar muscle-up.
I would have liked to see the ring muscle-up. We're going to talk about that.
And then the thrusters at a moderate weight, I guess, the 95, 115, 135. What was your kind of thought on that one, especially now that we've had workout 1 and now we're going to workout 2?
Yeah. So I think most of us that have been watching the Open, and you kind of know there's a certain list of things that we're expected to test. So and knowing there was going to be a repeat, we kind of got the hint that like, hey, there's going to be a repeat this year. It's going to be within these years. So everyone's starting to look at like, what's it going to be? And for me, I was thinking it was going to be, man, what was the workout? I think it was 20.5, which was the 120 cal row, 60 wall ball, 80 wall balls, 40 ring muscle ups. Do it how you want. Never been repeated. It was really awesome when it came out, kind of like pick your own journey. And it had the ring muscle up in it, with high volume squatting. So that was kind of my thought, was like, hey, the higher gymnastics, the higher volume, and something kind of fun. And it still gives the accessibility of, hey, if I can't do a ring muscle up, it's still a race through the row and the wall balls, and gets everyone involved. So like that was my number 1 pick. But we saw this one come out, and it's hard for me to say, like, it's kind of almost getting annoying that now when we look at the Open, we can almost guess the tests of like thrusters and gymnastics, like something on the rig put together. Great. Now it's a dumbbell and burpee workout. Great. And then whatever's left, like, all right, cool. We can kind of pick between the 5 movements and we have a good idea. I mean, after this workout came out, it was like, okay, we know now we're going to go upside down somehow. We're probably either going to deadlift or row. And the box was the only other thing we hadn't moved, right? Or touched. So it became a very like instant, just like, here's the things that we're going to do. We just don't know what capacity yet. But I do like the test of 25.2. It is a hard workout, and you do get to increase in weight, and it really does show. Everyone hates Fran. It gives you Fran lung. This is just a very hard version of Fran. You know, the double unders really don't do a lot except for just jack your heart rate up. Like, they're so easy for most good athletes that you're like, that's nothing. But then you put the rope down and you go to grab the bar and you're like, wait, this sucks. Like, it already sucked, but like, I'm breathing way harder than I wanted to going into this. So, you know, it did give us the weightlifting-esque, but at the end of the day, it's a gymnastics test. Do you have the capacity for pull-ups and chest to bar and then muscle-ups now that you're tired? And so I think that's really what they're going for with that one. But you know, it is good to see a retest, sorry, just to show like, hey, after a couple years, are these times overall getting faster? Are people still getting fitter? Yes. But, you know, with 3 workouts too, it's kind of hard to be like, we're going to have a repeat every year. Cause it's like, let's get something new, like exciting, you know, for 3 workouts in a year. Like, I don't want to keep repeating things. Like, if we had 4 or 5, great, throw a repeat in there. But when we only have 3, it's like, okay, we're going to get 2 new, maybe hopefully fun things. And we know we're going to do one thing we've done before, which sometimes is fun and sometimes it's not. So,
I know when, at least for myself, when I did hear it was going to be a repeat from the years of 20 to 24, or whatever he said, I also wanted it to be the 120, 80, 40. However, I do think this one worked out pretty well, especially just with the gym here, with people, one, improving their scores, like you said, from 22, pretty drastically with some of the people. And then other people going from scaled originally to now doing RX, or people getting their first chest to bars. People, I don't know if anyone got their first muscle up here, but I do know a number of people with their first chest to bar, which was a pretty cool thing to see.
Some people had maybe their first muscle up in a workout. Type of thing. Like they had done it before, but like something that counted, maybe more of a competitive setting. Which was kind of cool. But yeah, I think, again, though, if we take it back to, we have 3 workouts and we're trying to get these people to semifinals because we don't have quarterfinals, that's where I would have liked to see the ring muscle up in there. It takes a lot more to get a ring muscle up, especially higher volume. So that's kind of the one, not downfall, but like, you know, these gymnastics, toe to bar, pull up, chest to bar, bar muscle up, like a lot of people can do now. The ring muscle up still like that one thing that so many people want to do, and can be a huge separator. So I think that could have maybe been a difference maker there. You know, so, but I couldn't really think of any other repeats within that range that also had ring muscle ups, because I feel like we did a lot of ring muscle ups back in the day in the earlier opens when we had 5 workouts and we were testing a lot. And now, since we've made it a little more accessible, that ring muscle ups kind of gone out the window in the open, and it's all been rig work. So I'd love to see the ring muscle up come back into the open, just because, you know, there's people that can do it and you know, would like to have a little bit of that separator, and not just like, oh, all I have is cardio. Like, you know, I got some skills too.
No, that definitely makes sense. So now, kind of looking at the first 2 workouts, obviously we have 1 left, but now we've touched shoulder with the thruster and that clean and jerk. You can kind of say double unders or shoulder a little bit there as well. You have the burpee for that monostructural piece, and then the thruster, and then I guess the rig work. So a lot of shoulders, a lot of pulling in the second workout.
Not a lot of legs. I mean, thrusters, legs, body weight lunge, kind of legs, but like not like a leg test. Right. For sure.
Not like a pure squatting test, front squat. I wouldn't expect a back squat, or even just a front rack dumbbell squat would have been kind of interesting. But through 2 workouts, I mean, obviously we know, okay, there's deadlift or some sort of hinge. There's, to your point, handstand of some sort, whether that's push up, walking, whatever it is. So we kind of know, based on what they've done for however many years now, we can expect to see these certain movements. But through the first 2 workouts, how did you feel about them? Do you think they were at least programmed pretty well without knowing that third one?
Yeah, I mean, again, these guys, they test a lot of stuff, and it's always going to be a good. I don't think I've ever been through an open like that. The program sucked. I don't think we got the right people. You know, but I guess thinking about the challenge of what we thought we might get without quarterfinals. And like, it kind of excited me of, hey, we might see some heavier weights. We might see some harder skills. We might see longer ladder, add weight if you get through X round, or increase this or whatever it might be. And then after these 2 workouts, it's like, we didn't get that. We got things we had seen before that were just like your average tests over the last couple of years. And so it was a little disappointing in that sense of like, we weren't doing these extra things that were a little more fun for people that have maybe been in the CrossFit game a little longer. The people that are skilled are still going to get through it really freaking fast. But I think where the open misses a lot of times, like, we're really good at getting beginners to do it, and we're really good at making sure that the advanced people get there. But we don't really give the intermediate people a chance to test their skills and what they've learned over the year. Like, it's still like, we're going to beat you in the ground with a dumbbell and burpees. And it's like, but I learned a ring muscle up this year. I learned how to handstand walk. I learned how to do something else cool or move a little bit more weight, so that if I see that 225 clean come in, ooh, I can now do that, I think, when I'm tired. So it's like, I think that's where the open really misses for, you know, this 3 to 6 year athletes, maybe, of like, I'm past the beginner stage. I've learned these things. I'm not great at all of them, but like, it'd be really cool to do that and like be that separator piece, because it proves that I have put some more time into something this year versus just like the same test over and over, kind of. I guess.
I mean, do you think it's gotten to the point now where people, if they wanted, they could really just do these 10 movements, right, and then prepare themselves for the open?
Yeah, I mean, not to throw them in the dirt or anything, but like Ben Bergeron on Comp Train, that's how it started. He was like, I this is what the open is going to be.
Yeah.
And all year, we are going to drill these movements. And you're going to be really freaking good at these movements when the open comes back around. A lot of them are more fundamental, but it wasn't about lifting a lot of weight or learning harder. It was like, we know what the test is going to be. And so this is what we're going to do. So I think there is a very much like, if that's your goal and that's your only goal, then yeah, we can pretty much dial in about 10 to 15 things for an entire year.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to hit a home run when it comes to the open.
Yeah.
Now, if you make it to the next level because you've just been drilling those same things, now we'll see those things.
Yeah.
Right. Versus, I think every year they change it, and every year I'm like, ooh, I kind of like it. Last year, I think quarterfinals being the 20% people, it meant a lot more people did quarterfinals, but it gave the intermediate athlete that chance to show the things that they had learned. Right. But now it's like, okay, we're jumping to semifinals again. And so it's like, okay, I can crush the open if I do these 10 things. But now I know if I make it to semifinals, it's going to get way harder. Right. And so it's more of like, what's your focus? But yeah, no, I definitely think we could make a list of 10 to 15 movements, call it. And you'd probably be perfectly fine in the open if that's all you did. Now, would that be true CrossFit? Would that be fun training for a year? No, not at all. Right.
Absolutely not.
It would look like rowing intervals with box jumps and handstand push-ups. Like you would just do the same couplets and triplets over and over and over. But yeah, you'd be really freaking good at them.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, definitely. I think unfortunately that it is kind of in that trend and it is that direction. And personally, I'd love to see that change. I'd love to see some of the creativity. Like, again, I hate to take it back to old school, but it's like, it literally used to be, we don't know. Like, it was like fun watching and being like, what are we going to do? And I still get that a little bit, but it's like, if you honestly sat me down before the open started and was like, okay, what are we going to see? It'd be like, okay. And then the workouts would come out and be like, see, not surprised. Like that one, and that one are there. And then we're going to see that one and that one. And then now that these two are done, we know that and that are left, you know? Yeah.
I mean, I think it kind of takes away from that constantly varied kind of saying that they've had for ever since they've been around. Like we know what's going to happen. We know what's going to show up in the open now. And it would be nice if they can get back to a point where it is like, to your point, you're excited every week. Like, I don't know what this is going to be. And just kind of make it completely different than the last few years. Whereas, like you said, we know what
it was like. Just changing up the couplets. Like, give me thrusters and wall walks.
That's totally different.
Instead of thrusters and gymnastics. Like, it's like, okay, we know thrusters and gymnastics is coming. But like, if you were like, we're going to do thrusters, I'm like, oh, now pull-ups. And they're like, and then we're going to do wall walks. I'd be like, wait a second. Like, holy shit. And then we're going to do another set of thrusters. And now we're going to do handstand push-ups. And it's like, whoa, like that completely changes. Like, we haven't done that, you know? But it's just like, we see thrusters, pull-ups. We see thrusters, chest to bar, you know? And it's like, okay, we know that a thruster and gymnastics pull-in rig or workout is going to come. And I think for now, we can almost bank on that. So
yeah, no, I think that's definitely fair. So I know we are coming up on time here, so you do have kids class, so maybe we do workout 3 in the next episode.
That's fine. I was gonna say I might be able to knock it out because I was happy with it, but I think the next episode works too because it did have a lot more to it.
Let's do that in the next episode. However, I do have a question for you.
All right.
This year in the announcement was the first time we didn't see a Concept 2 rower. We saw the Rogue rowers.
Man, I know.
So do you think they're going to get to a point where the Rogue Echo bike comes out in the open?
Man, I thought a long time ago we would see it. They made the official announcement that the Echo bike was the official bike of CrossFit, and we've seen it in regionals, we've seen it at the games, but we've never seen it in the open. I would have thought we were going to see that before we saw a second version of a rower be added. Because it's always been the Concept 2, and all the gyms have Concept 2s. So that being said, I was very shocked by it. I have my opinion on that, which maybe we can talk about in the third one.
We can save it.
But the bike is a game changer. And that would be one of those shock factors in the open that if it came out, it would be like, oh, man. But they need to give some kind of warning because there probably are a lot of gyms that only have an assault bike or something, and they definitely are not the same.
No, they're
Assault
not.
bike and echo bike are not the same.
Yeah.
You can program them to feel the same, but if you said 10 calories on an assault bike or echo bike, it would not be the same 10
Yeah.
calories. But when it comes to the rowers, we can save that for the next episode where we talk about the third workout and why I think that happened this year, and all that good stuff. And then we'll kind of see where it goes after that.
Awesome.
Maybe we can talk a little semifinals or something. I don't know.
We can definitely jump kind of around here in that next episode. But so that is what we have for this episode 1 of Off the Rails, a Troli Train podcast. All of the socials will be in the description below, where you can check out Troli Train, the personal training, CrossFit Tailors, personal accounts, whatever you want to find. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, and leave us a comment what you have thought of the first 2 workouts of the CrossFit Open.
And any future things you want us to talk about. Like if there's anything CrossFit related, business coaching, programming, whatever, put that down there, and we'll make sure, like, as the weeks go on, we'll try to hit those things too. Because we literally, if it's CrossFit, we'll talk about it.
It'll be in here.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, Nate.
So with that said, we will see you all in the next episode.
See you soon.